practices today take up a lot of our time. We've got our 10, 12, 15 patients that we just saw on our brain. We're trying to make sure we did everything right with the staff. So why does it matter? Why should we add that extra layer of involvement? It's really threefold. The first one, if you want to look at it from a personal doctor standpoint, is because that's how you're going to build your network. That's how you're going to get to know other doctors. You're going to, be able to go to your state association meetings or your national meetings or even your local meetings and really build relationships. And say you have a patient that you've never seen that diagnosis before, you can call somebody and say, hey, I don't know what I really need to do with this. How can you help me? You've got people that you can work with and lean on and really feel like you're not alone in this. Being involved in that way is absolutely, important. Beyond that, your patients are going to benefit when you get involved. Going to meetings, going to conferences, all of those things are going to get you exposed to what's happening in eye care. It's going to make sure that you know what's on the forefront, that you're able to bring the best patient care to your patients, that you're able to bring the best diagnostics, the best knowledge, the most comprehensive look at things. Your patients know that you really know what you're doing and you're not giving them information that maybe was relevant 5 or 10 years ago, but that you really know what they need to know and how they need to be treated. The third reason is that without involvement, our profession is going to die. We have been a profession founded on legislation our entire existence. We are where we are today because we've had fighters and we've had people who have gotten involved and gone to Washington or gone to their state and said, look, we need this, we deserve this, and we can do this. And they've really gotten the support, they've gotten with their legislators, and they've made it happen. Unfortunately, the newer generations as a whole, not everyone of course, don't really understand that they have to be involved or else we're going to go backwards. Laws can always be overturned. Things can always expire. Ophthalmology can always come in and decide that we shouldn't be doing a certain service and fight against that. Not to mention the fact that we are very smart, we're very intelligent, and we could do a lot of things that we aren't practicing in, that we're interested in, that would help provide better patient care, but we don't have the laws to do that, and without fighting, we're not going to. So, our generation's never had to fight a big fight. Most of us have always been able to write orals. Most of us have always been able to prescribe drops, treat glaucoma. Maybe you have to do a different process in each state, but overall, being able to do those things. Whereas generations, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, that wasn't the case, and so they had a passion and they fought for it and they got us where we are today. But without that, our profession is going to become stagnant and absolutely lose what we have now. It definitely is overwhelming when you first get out to think about taking on involvement, but I say don't wait. Absolutely get involved from day one. It doesn't mean you have to be an officer. It doesn't mean you have to be knocking on, the Senate steps. It means that you start just going to meetings. You start establishing those relationships, finding out where you're passionate and where you like to be, so that as you grow in the profession, you can grow in those positions as well. And that way you can continue it and help to, identify those areas that maybe we need more help in, or those laws that maybe we could benefit from passing. Maybe it's actually taking those trips and speaking to our legislators and getting involved that way. But if you sit back and say, well, I'll do it in 5 years when I'm a little more settled, chances are you're not going to do it. So go ahead and dive in, and get your feet wet. See what happens.